Hello, y'all. It is time to breathe again on the latest BOFA Sports webcast streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So, with Patrick Brackett, I am Charles Taylor. And, well, Patrick, Rivalry week, huh? Yeah, so lots of fun.
But this is why I love it. This is why I love it. Yeah. Oh, and you should have, dude, if you could have been a fly on the wall for me yelling at Georgia on Friday, you would have been like, I don't know if he's a Georgia fan anymore. Oh, wait, yeah, he is. Oh, wait, I don't know. Yeah, maybe he is. I don't know.
I see that you ignored the text I sent you when you was talking about, man, if you would have seen me yelling at my TV. I think this is Saturday when you sent it, though. And I said, it seems to be a common thing with you yelling at your TV this year. Yeah, I sent you a text, Patrick. Yep, you probably did not respond. Not to that one, but we did text a little bit on Sunday.
I don't remember that text.
You don't remember the text. This is magical that you don't remember this. I sent you this.
I know why. I know why. Because when I text you that, I put my phone down.
What'd you put your phone down for?
I put my phone down because I text you. I put my phone down and I left my text message open. And because I remember texting you this, but yeah, I'm seeing it now. I didn't even see it, so I apologize.
It's okay. It's all right. I figured you was in your Georgia mode.
Look, I will say this about that Georgia game, and I know we're going to talk about it. I'll say this. That rivalry from a Georgia Tech standpoint is needed. From my feelings, I don't need that crap in my life, so I really needed Georgia to win the game. Stop playing with your food and just win the game. But Georgia's a good team. I mean, they came with a phenomenal game plan on both sides of the ball.
You don't need 8 overtimes? What do you mean?
No, we don't. I don't care if it's the second longest game in college football history. I don't give a crap. I don't need that. I need you to win in regulation by 20. Just do that. Don't
4 overtimes? We do 4 overtimes?
No, I don't need that. No, maybe another team. But Georgia, you should have saw some of the text messages I sent my cousin and my aunt. I was like, F them. I hate them. Look, Cameron or my aunt Trine or Cameron one, I can't remember. They were like, maybe we should put you on a 30-day trial period. I said, put me on a damn 130-day. I don't give a shit.
Wait a minute. No, they can't just put you on trial periods. No.
I was livid. I was like, I hate this team.
Were you texting during the game to them like this?
A little bit.
Patrick, you haven't texted this much in games.
In years.
Ever. Like, at least as long as I've known you. You don't do that.
It's been years. It's been years, and I normally try to keep it very because I don't need the drama like from my phone and from the TV. There was a certain point where I was just like, okay, I gotta put it away. I was livid. Let's get with the show, and we'll go over it when it comes to it.
Well, Patrick, look, man. I mean, your game with Georgia Tech. I mean, that was the beginning of everything that was going on with Rivalry Week.
Oh, it was. Yeah, that's right. Friday. Okay, yeah. We'll talk about it then. Georgia Tech came with one of the best game plans I saw against Georgia, even counting the Alabama game, even counting the Ole Miss game. The way Georgia Tech played them was outright dominant. Like, I don't even think Ole Miss was that dominant against Georgia for 4 quarters. I mean, Georgia did not take a lead into the first overtime. That to me was sheer dominance. Now, I get it. Everybody will probably be like, well, Ole Miss beat the crap out of Georgia. They did. But the way Georgia Tech did it, to me, with the personnel they have, to me was just more dominant than that Ole Miss game. Now, that first half in the Alabama game, it doesn't get more dominant than that. Don't get me wrong. Because that one was just, I mean, Charles, you were sitting there with me. You even said, I even told you, I was like, I'm settling in for a loss. And then they started coming back, and I started standing up, and I started pacing around. And I started, and then they lost. And I was like, look, if you're going to lose, just lose. Just lose. Don't get my emotions all back up and riled. And I'm like, oh, man, we got a chance. And then we take the lead, and then they give it right back to them. I was like, man, see, that's just toying with me. Don't do that. Just lose. Just lose and let me be pissed off because you didn't show any gut or anything like that. Just lose. But that Georgia Tech team, man, they played well. And I can tell you, outside of the game, now that I have had a week to calm down, less than a week to calm down, that rivalry needed it. It really does. I mean, 118 games played. It was starting to get very stale, especially from a Georgia Tech standpoint. So the rivalry needs it. Just in my personal opinion, for my well-being, just beat them in four. Just beat them in 4 quarters, so he don't have to do this anymore.
The funny thing is, when we were talking about some of these games last week, I figured maybe you would talk about Georgia Tech and Georgia, but you said, not going to talk about that because there's better games out there. Better than 8 overtimes, huh?
Well, you say that. Hindsight's 20/20, Charles. Come on.
No, it's not. No, this isn't hindsight because I said we could.
You figured I would talk about it. I didn't feel like it was that necessary. If you felt that it was necessary, then you should have brought it up as a game, but you didn't.
No, because I had other games on. I had other games on.
I didn't think it was going to be like that.
Okay,
but. I just figured that Auburn and Alabama was going to be a little bit better of a game, and it wasn't. And then that one turned out to be the way it turned out to be. I was like, this is a bad week for me. What can I say?
Hey, well, what else stood out to you besides Georgia Tech and Georgia? I mean, look, there's not going to be too much that gets better than 8 overtimes, but
not much. But there was some good games out there. Where was it at? That South Carolina Clemson game. Man, what a game that was. I mean, South Carolina is strong, dude. And did they come out with the new rankings? They did. First round, Alabama is higher than than South Carolina. Bull crap, dude. Bull crap. That South Carolina team is legit. And they're just not
head to head. This is what
yeah, you're right.
because that's what the committee, I'm just saying, this is what the committee, that it seems, we know this could change like wind direction.
Yeah,
but it seems they are putting a lot, it seems that they're putting a lot on head-to-head competition.
Yeah,
that's what it seems.
It's what it seems, and I wish they would take in consideration of a little bit more of like a strength of schedule and who they lost to. I mean, like,
depends on the year.
Yeah, it depends on the year. I mean, it's just so frustrating because I sit and I look at this Alabama team and I look at this South Carolina team, and I think South Carolina's getting gypped. I really do. I feel they're getting gypped because to me, they're a better team. Far better. I think they're better coached. I think they're a better team on both ends of the ball. I think they're better in special teams. I think they're an all-around better team. And I think I kind of feel like getting gypped with this because they keep favoring Alabama for whatever reason. And I don't know what that is. And like you said, I guess the only thing we can come up with is the head-to-head. But, I mean, South Carolina's losses are far better losses than Vandy and Oklahoma. I mean, you know what I mean? So there has to be something that they give South Carolina because of those two losses, just in that. But they're not. Like you said, head-to-head is just so much more important than who is actually a better team. That's frustrating. That's so frustrating because South Carolina is such a better team than them. So, but I just got one more game, and then I'll let you take it and give yours. Michigan and Ohio State, man. Wow, who saw that? To me, I kind of felt that Ohio State was going to come in, especially playing in the shoe, that they were going to dominate this team. But Michigan showed up, man. Held them to 10 points. Got that field goal to take the lead and held on. So kudos to Michigan. I mean, what's that? The past 4 or 5 years? 5 years they're 4-1 against Ohio State. What can I say?
They won the last 4, and they look. Styles make fights, man. Michigan still brings a physical appearance. I know player-wise haven't been what they were, particularly last year. Coach isn't the same, but I guess that's part of the rivalry week when you get these matchups and you're very familiar with an opponent. And Ohio State, even though they have been a little bit more physical this year, you're still wondering if they want to get into that rock fight a lot. Like they would still rather, with all the athletes they have, they would still rather get out there, throw the ball all over the place, and let their talent take over. But if you're able to get it to muck it up, which Michigan did, wonder how willing Ohio State is still, how much they're willing to do that. And apparently there's still a grit that's missing with them. Now, look, they're probably going to get in the playoffs somehow just because they're still ranked pretty high from these rankings. I think they're 6 in these rankings, these new ones that came out an hour and a half ago. But
they got them in 8th seed playing Tennessee. This is the 9th seed.
Yeah, so AFC 6th ranked because of conference championships and all that other stuff. That's why they're kind of rated a little bit lower. But yeah, if that's a matchup, Tennessee can muck that up and make it really tough because Tennessee more physical than they have been in previous years.
Yeah,
and so that's what you wonder about Ohio State, and Michigan was able to just drag that out. And then we're going to talk about that a little bit more, well, from a fighting standpoint, because rivalry week was full with fights. But
there's so many, dude.
But look, man, now I'm going to go over talk about Texas and Texas A&M, that rivalry coming back in College Station, and man, we talked about how Texas was going to handle themselves in that environment with 107. Well, God, I think it was 109,000 people, something like that. That was
just over 109,000.
And how we would handle that, and I would say we handled it pretty well. Quinn Ewers still scares me very much so because he has those moments where a tip ball happens and it's a pick six, or he fumbles on a sliding. He fumbled sliding. And so, but now, granted, the Texas A&M defender came over the top, knocked the ball out of his hands. Goodness, you're sliding. Tuck the ball away.
Yeah, tuck it away. Do your part.
And so, I don't know, but overall, I mean, it came in 17-7. We were pretty good on both sides of the line of scrimmage. We were able to run the ball well with Wisner and Jadon Blue. And on defense, we were able to mess up A&M's run game, and their only touchdown was a defensive touchdown. Had a couple of 4-down stops also on the other side of the line of scrimmage, blowing up those plays on short yardage situations. So just great to have that rivalry back, though. I know that was one of those things when we got into the SEC. That rivalry was going to come back, and it's been far too long not to have it there. So very happy.
What a way to bring it back for like playoff implications, man. It's like, what a way to bring it back. College football couldn't have scripted that better. You know what I mean? They couldn't. I mean, it's just the way it played out and how everything worked out, and then that is your game deciding on who's going to play Georgia. Oh, what a way to bring it back. I was like, that was a cool. Now, and if anybody watches Rivalry Week, now you know why We love college football. Minus Georgia Tech going to 8 overtimes. Oh my God.
And look, Syracuse beating Miami, coming in there, knocking Miami up. Miami was up 21-0 in that game, and Syracuse was able to come back and win 42-38.
They just don't stop, man.
Syracuse just kept coming. I mean, I know Miami had a hot first quarter, and then Syracuse was able to get going on offense, get some stops. They had that defensive touchdown on the fumble return, and this loss really hurts Miami's hopes now. They still might get in depending on what happens on these championship games that we're about to discuss, but tough, very, very tough, difficult loss for Miami. And again, but look, it just goes like we always talk about the U, how they're going to handle success, because everybody is so quick to say, oh, the U is back, and then they catch a L and they're not back anymore. So here you are. We had a chance.
All you have to do is win.
You just got to win. It's right there in your hands. You had the one loss to Georgia Tech, but it's still just the one loss. You have everything in your hands. You win. You go and play SMU in the ACC championship game, and you lose to Syracuse. Now, granted, look, Syracuse has been good this year. This is a 93 football team, so it's not like Syracuse has been trash this year.
Yeah. But you had a 21 point
these games.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again.
Oh, my bad. I just said Miami's got to handle these games.
Oh, absolutely. You got to handle these games. And look, and we're not trying to disrespect Syracuse. The thing is that if you go up 21, you have to win that game now. You cannot. I mean, even with the I don't even know if it was an interception or if it was a full fumble or whatever it was that Syracuse ran back after.
That was a fumble.
That was a fumble? Okay, because I caught it right like as he was running back, and I was like, well, that's the offense of Miami. What happened? And I caught it during the replay, so I didn't get to see it again. So I was like, and then I completely forgot about it. So I assumed it was just an interception, but either way the case may be, you gave that up so fast. Like, how do you give that fumble up like that and then allow that to be a fumble six? Is that what they call them? Fumble six? Scoop and six?
Scoop and score.
Scoop and score. That's what it is. You're right. Okay. So, but it wasn't even a scoop. He was like
no, he just took it out of his hand. Yeah, he
handled it. And I'm sitting here going, for you to be a dominant team, and for everybody to say that you're physical, and for everybody to say all of these things about Miami, and then you get outplayed, out physicalitied, out coached, out everything to Syracuse. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect Syracuse, but everybody has built you up so much that if we're going to look at that, you should have handled Syracuse. And you couldn't even do that. I mean, it's just like what we say about Penn State. We think they're a good team unless they play one of two teams. You know, so when you're going to get over that hump. So now we have to look at Miami and say, your conference is not getting easier. As a matter of fact, if you were going to win a championship, you should have won it 2-3 years ago. It's not getting easier. SMU's coming. Clemson ain't going anywhere. Georgia Tech, look at what they're doing now.
And they beat Miami.
What's the other one? Florida State ain't going to stay down long. I mean, Norvell is a good coach. He's going to have them back. It's not going to be long. I mean, like, yes, this is a down season for them. Okay. He's going to fix that come next year. So you got 5, 6, 7 SMU. Added SMU to the mix. And these teams are not getting easier. And plus, NIL is not making it easier. So if you're this physical team that is supposed to be back, where the hell were you at against Syracuse? I mean, again, I got to stress it. I'm not trying to disrespect Syracuse. They're a good team. What I'm saying is they're coming, and they're not. None of these teams are scared of each other anymore. It is now who is going to win? We're battling. It is a battle. Georgia Tech came in to Athens and gave Georgia every bit of what they did not want. Every bit of it. So these teams are not just pushovers anymore. Look at what Vandy's doing. South Carolina's had a couple of bad seasons, but Shane Beamer is bringing that team to some great heights. These teams are not scared of other teams anymore. Just because you won a couple of championships last year don't mean crap. We're coming.
So with rivalry week, we mentioned there was a lot of fights that was going on, and a lot of it centered around you had your road teams, such as Michigan winning at Ohio State, you got South Carolina winning at Clemson, Florida State, NC State, North Carolina, Arizona State, I mean, you name them. But there was some sort of planting of something. I say planting of something because Arizona State wanted to plant their pitchfork in the middle.
And they just took it.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. Don't let them do that crap. I don't care if you won. You ain't planting the crap in my field.
So we saw the fight that really went off the stage in Columbus with Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah.
Michigan, of course, wanted to plant their flag. Ohio State players ran back, started grabbing flags, tossing them, and pepper spray was used.
Yeah.
So it got really serious.
That was the most violent one out of all of them.
Yeah, it was pretty serious. In Florida State, the coach, you mentioned Mike Norvell, he went in there, he grabbed the flag himself and threw it.
Good.
And so I guess just where are your overall feelings with it? So if a team comes in there, they beat you, they want to plant the flag, you're saying nope, can't happen. So you gotta
no. Now look, I will say this: I'm not an advocate for violence. I'm not gonna say that I'm like, yeah, go and try to plant your flag and I'm gonna beat your. No, I'm not trying to say that. What I am trying to say, let's be decent. Act like you won a game before. Don't try to plant a flag. I'm not gonna try. Look, I tell you, if I was coaching, my boys ain't trying to plant no flag. You go in, you shake their hands, good game, get your butt back in the freaking locker room. Ain't got time for that crap, right? Don't do it. But if you think you're going to, and I tell my boys this too, you're not planting no flag. But if they try, you take it away from them. We ain't having that shit. Period. You're not planting your crap on my field. This is my field. You are not coming to my house and pissing on my carpet. Ain't happening. So no. Take care of business. Go get them.
Now Patrick, I guess this is you kind of coming of age here, because I remember back in the day what you
I was running that flag right out there.
Okay. I just wanted to be transparent with the audience.
I would. If I was in my 30s, absolutely. I'm in my 40s now, and I ain't got time.
Okay. I just wanted to be transparent with the audience here because, hey, look.
Hey, if you watched this show 4 years ago, yeah, you'd probably be like,
yeah.
No. Hey, I'm older now. That's the thing about men. They get softer. I'm like, I'm not trying to, but don't come and piss on my rug, bro. It's just the way it is. You know, I'm not going to try to do that to you, so don't come over here and do that to me. Ain't got time for it.
All right.
Yes, we call an apple and an orange here.
Okay, all right.
But that's my growth. I won't plant the flag, but yes, 7 years ago, I'd have one in my back pocket and be like, "Oh, you took that one? Get that one."
So you know what? I'm cool with it all. Now look, here's the thing, because you can have the response like what Texas coach Steve Sarkisian had. Our players were about to dance on the A&M logo there in College Station. Sark said, "No, we ain't doing that. Get out. No, we won. That's it. That's enough. We won."
Matters.
And yeah, and The bigger part of me, besides the other parts I'm about to tell you about, the bigger part of me is saying yes. Swim with class. Let's be dignified about this. Act like we've won before, like you said earlier.
Act like we deserve to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because look, A&M does not need any more motivation than for us to come in there. First time that rivalry has gone, that has happened in 13 years. 2011 was the last time they played this game, and then we come back to College Station and we dance on the logo now. No, man, we don't need to stir that pot, man. We don't need to open up that hornet's nest. So, go ahead.
Remember, they have to play you in Austin next
year. Yeah, exactly. that will be in their heads. Yeah, exactly. And then the other part of me says, like, if you're Ohio State, if you're Arizona, if you're Florida State, Clemson, the teams that lost at home, and someone comes in there, plants the flag, I can understand it. And from the other standpoint, I can understand you being upset because, like you said, don't come into my house, piss on the carpet. Mm-hmm. You had 60 minutes to go ahead and fight that out.
60 minutes to put that out.
Yeah. And so on that standpoint, to me, that's not really too much different than what I remember when a spirited conversation. Well, all of our conversations are always pretty spirited, but there was one in particular when we were talking about Cam Newton, and we actually agreed with this because Cam Newton, go on there, he's Supermaning. When he was at his prime, he was doing his dance. He was what they call it, the dab. He was dabbing up, Supermaning and all that. And we would say, hey, if you don't want him to do that, you need to stop him from scoring. Yep. And I tend to think of this the same way. If Ohio State didn't want Michigan to come in there, particularly in a game where Ohio State is highly ranked, Michigan is down this year, and Michigan comes in there and beat y'all at y'all house like that, you got to win that game. Well, if you're Ohio State, you cannot let that happen under any circumstances, but especially these.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, because as a coach, the first thing I'm going to say is this.
What was that
fight? You took that fight 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But again, I'm still going to say, you're not coming. Look, I can have. There's a lot of things that go on in my house. That goes on in my house, and there's going to be a lot of losses I have. But Charles, you're still not going to come in and piss on my rug. It's just not happening. You know what I mean? But Patrick, you got 2 broken legs and you're stumped toe. I'll be like, still ain't pissing on my rug. This ain't happening. You know what I mean? So, but I as a coach, I would say, where's that fight? Where was that fight? I am now. Not only are you not going to plant your flag, now you're going to go in that locker room, and I got a few questions now. Because now,
where was that fight at?
Because you were fired up about, no, you're not going to disrespect my logo. Bro, they just disrespected our entire team. And you're talking about the logo? No. Go to the locker room. We're going to have that conversation right here in about 5 minutes. Let me wrap this up. Let me get this shitty interview that I got to do done with Holly, and then I'm going to be over there. Ooh, see, that's where I would be so frustrated because, like, where was that fight? Where was that fight that you wanted to make sure they ain't going to disrespect our logo, but they come in our house and disrespect us anyway? No, you got to win that game. You have to win that game. It don't matter what. Ohio State has to win that game. But here we are. They can't beat Michigan. You just can't beat them.
And like I said, like, for me, the biggest part of me when we talk about how everything broke down, all these different perspectives you can look at it. Like I said, I can understand Michigan saying, hey, we were disrespected coming in, we're going to plant this flag. I can understand Ohio State among the other rivalry games that we had where you saw fights. I could see Ohio State saying, no, you're not going to disrespect my house. The bigger part of me goes to the Michigan side And I say this because as a Texas fan, we could have did the same thing. But our coach said, no. And maybe it took him seeing what was happening throughout the nation on these rivalry games. And look, I mean, there's an understanding. Look, if you're in there, if you're in one of those programs, like, you understand how heated, how deep-rooted these things are. And so I like how we handled it, not just because I'm a Texas fan. I just like how we handled it. We're like, look, we won.
Love it.
Let's go. Let's roll on out. We're not gonna dance on any logos. We're not gonna plant any flags.
But look at who your coach is.
Sure.
He demands the respect. He demands the respect. It didn't take him going, no. He goes, no.
Yeah, he was calm. Yeah, and that shows you how who's in control there.
He was in control the entire time. And that right there is the reason why Texas is in the position they're in. Because the respect that is demanded, not only in the locker room, but out on the field. The respect that he demands, not only on just in the field and in the locker room, but out in your everyday life. You represent the University of Texas, or how Kirby Smart does it. You represent, and well, I say that, but then Kirby Smart can't keep his guys out of jail because of DUI. But
keep them away from drinks in a car.
Yeah, keep them away from drinks in a car. Look, yank their license and the keys. Because you can't break their hands, we still need them. You know what I mean? So, but Stark demands the respect, not only in your personal life, not only on the field, but in the locker room as well. And he gets that. And that's the reason why Texas, year one, is the reason why they're in the position that they're in. It's also the reason why I saw them in such the position that I have been talking about, and I was highly on Texas. And you know that for 3 years when I was like, they're going to be more SEC ready than Oklahoma. They just are. It's because what I saw in your head coach. Your head coach is such a good coach that he was going to demand that outright. That was just what it is. So Texas is just, he handled the situation very well. I was pleased because I was like, you know what? That's SEC football right there. We come in, we don't need to dance. We don't need to plant a low. We don't need to plant our flag. Look, we just beat you. Deal with that in the rankings. I care less. I got to move to the next game. It's time for me to win a championship, period. And that's what Texas saw. They were like, it's time to win a championship. Let's go and do that. I'm not interested in all this other stuff. I always love the one that Kirby Smart said. He goes, I'm not here for the lights. I'm not here for the glamour. I'm not here. We're here to eat.
Yep.
And that's what Texas did.
All right, well, Patrick, let's get to this week. Of course, it is conference championship week. But before we do,
you gotta show the graphic.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
So, with this graphic, so yes, Patrick, you went 3-3, and I went 5-1, and we have a tie. Yes, we do.
Of course, it has to be a tie going into the last week that we did it.
So this is what we have it right. We have 49-23 records, identical. We again.
What record, by the way? What record, by the way? You don't see no ESPN analysts pulling that crap. Look at that. I'm just saying. Anybody that's sitting here watching College Game Day and BOFA Sports Live, I want you to recognize skill when you see it, and right there it is. 49-23. Come on. We don't play around with 500, even though my last week was 500. Overall, we don't play around with that. We win. We're here to win on BOFA Sports. Just saying.
So we, with these identical records, coming close still. So with the scores, with the picking of the scores, kind of funny because we had like the point differential, but not necessarily the score. So for an example, with South Carolina and Clemson, we both said they would win that game by 3 points. It just happened to be 17-14 instead of 27-24 for you and 31-28 for me. And so
right?
The Texas A&M game, I had a 10-point differential for that, but I picked 31-21 instead of 17-7. And so it's like everything is just, it's kind of close. So we'll see if this is the week that one of us hit that that score, that prediction of the score. But lots on the line, as you said, Patrick. The two games that got me even was the Miami-Syracuse game and the Auburn-Alabama game. You have Miami and Auburn, and I said, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the home team. Well, you know me, I don't have no faith in Miami. But I
shouldn't have had any faith in them either. You're gonna piss away a 21-point lead.
And so there we are, 49-23 going into conference championship week. Now, Patrick, there's no games really to pick, man. We got the 6 conferences right there. And so we will jump in. So before we start getting into them, so you got your 6. So you got the Mountain West, American Athletic Conference, and of course the Power 4 in the Big 12, ACC, Big 10, and SEC. We will start with the Mountain West because that one is being played on Friday night. It is a rematch between UNLV and Boise State. Now, those two, they played earlier in the year in Las Vegas. Boise State won that game 29-24. Unlike the other conferences, Boise State gets to host this game. So this will be at their stadium on the Smurf turf up there in Boise.
I think that feels so ugly.
Yeah, and so, but again,
the cheaters, especially when they put blue jerseys and blue pants and wear blue shoes, cheaters.
So 29-24 was the final score of the game they played in Las Vegas. And if you remember, Patrick, the running back, Ashton Jeanty, earned every bit of that yardage. He had, I think, between 125, 130 yards, but it was on over 30 carries. UNLV made him earn every single one of those yardage. So here's your rematch for presumably the spot that conference winner, that other conference winner outside of the Power 4. Boise State, of course, is in there as it stands right now. Will they still be in there, Patrick, after this game? What do you see?
Well, like you said, UNLV made Ashton Jeanty earn every one of those yards, every single one of them. And I don't think he even busted a run over 15 yards. I mean, I think it was short yardage runs every single time. Now, don't get me wrong. He did set Boise State up for good second down possessions when he did it. So he did do a good job of keeping them ahead of schedule, so to speak. This is a hard one because this was going to be such a good game, but I gotta go with the home team. They get to host it, and like you said, it's the one of the 6 that gets to do it. And I gotta go with Boise State. I think they run it and they win the game. I'll go Boise State 28-22.
All right, good score to pick, and I'm going to agree with you there because I think just Boise State being at home, I do think that is going to be a little bit too much for UNLV to overcome, but they're going to be ready to play, and it wouldn't shock me if UNLV was able to go in there and win. But yeah, playing on the Smurf turf up there in Boise, it's going to be cold. And
Boise State's ready. UNLV is a good team. I think they're going to give them everything that they can handle. But I do think it's going to be a little bit more lower scoring than even the last time they played. And I think Boise State ultimately is the better team.
I think it'll be a little bit higher scoring. So what was it? That final score was 29-24 last game when they played in Las Vegas. I think it'll probably be by the same differential. I'm going to go 32-27 Boise State on this game. Again, I think Jeanty, I think he'll break a run this time. UNLV did a very good job of containing them and not letting out those big, huge runs. This was we're just going to continue with the body blows. And UNLV said, no, you're not breaking this run. You might get 6-7 yards, but you're not breaking this run. I think Jeanty breaks one this time, and that will probably be the difference. So, yeah. 32-27, Boise State. So the other game, Patrick, where the home team gets to host is actually in the American Athletic Conference. So Tulane will go to Army. So this is going to be something to see. An Academy hosting a conference championship game. So that's going to be up there in West Point, New York. And Army has the one loss to Notre Dame. Memphis is coming off of, Memphis. Well, Memphis beat Tulane. I was going to say Tulane is coming off of a loss to Memphis last week. And Memphis looked pretty good doing it in that game, 34-4. So now Tulane got to pick themselves up and get ready for this conference championship game. Do they come out of this with a victory, or does Army?
You're going to make me pick all 6 of these first, aren't you?
Absolutely, yes.
Tulane is so good. Tulane is so good, and they do have a tough loss that they just came off of. But what's up, Aaron? I think Army's going to be ready, man. And how often do we get to do this? So I'm going to take my opportunity, and I'm going to go Army. I'm going to say Army's going to win this because I'm never going to get to say this again. I really know I'm not. So I'm going to go Army, and I think it's going to be a really good score. I think it's going to be a really good game. I really do. I'm going to go Army. I'm going to go Army 30-25.
All right, man, here's a disagreement. I think Tulane's going to do it. Now, it's going to be tight. I just think there's the athletes, I think, will show for Tulane here. And I know Army have been playing really well. I don't know if they have enough passing still to.
How often are you gonna get to say it though, Charles?
Hey, well, look, man. I'll take my chance.
You gotta go with that win.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't blame you. I don't blame you because Tulane is such a good team, and they're really. This is what I would say is I don't really think that the athletes is going to really show up. The discipline of Tulane is where they have to be disciplined. If they stay disciplined, it's going to be hard for Army to win. I'm kind of betting on their not being as disciplined as they have been in the past. Kind of what I'm betting on. Plus, I got to go with Army. I mean, it's like I'm never going to get to do this again. I know for a fact we are not going to have the conversation again next year. So I'm going with it because they got to do something.
Well, I'm a pick Tulane. What was your score for this?
30-25.
30-25. All right. I think it'll be. I think there's going to be some points in this one. This could get to the 40s. So I'm gonna go high 30s. So I'm gonna go something like 39-34. Tulane pulls this out. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see Army win this game, of course, especially with it being played right there in the Army Academy. There,
a lot to play for. So
yes, lots on the line. So we'll go over to the Big 12, and I'll go ahead and I'll pick this one first. We'll go ahead and switch it up. So the Big 12 championship game is between Iowa State and Arizona State. This game will be played at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, suburb of Dallas and Fort Worth. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. Iowa State just solid as normal, always coming through and just doing their stuff. Like Iowa State just goes about their business, and somehow they just walk up on 9 or 10 wins.
I know, right? It's just been a very for Iowa State. I mean, they run their wins. Don't get me wrong, but it's just
yeah. I mean, Iowa State is just level. They're solid, very solid. And then with Arizona State, this team kind of came out of nowhere. So not a lot of people were expecting too much from Arizona State, but here they are, just coming up out of nowhere, and now they're in the Big 12 title game. I think this game will be pretty close too, but I think Arizona State is just peaking. I think they are just coming together at the right time, and they'll have a little bit too much for for Iowa State. I think this game, just like the other two, will be close. I got Arizona State pulling this out. I wouldn't be surprised if this game went into overtime. I think it's that close. But I got Arizona State winning this one. I'm going to go 30-27. I think it'll be a field goal game.
I think it's going to be a field goal game too. It, like you said, it's just Arizona State has just showed up. I mean, they show up to play every single week. They're very, I wouldn't say they're predictable, but even if they were, the question is can you stop them? I mean, you almost know when they're going to run, you almost know when they're going to pass, and you still can't stop them. They just play very well, you know. I'm gonna go Arizona State as well. I just think that they are a better team than Iowa State. I think Iowa State they're going to keep it close. I'm going to go 27-24, Arizona State.
All right, man, let's move on over to the ACC. And we got a matchup with Clemson and SMU. So this game will be at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. And this is SMU first year in the conference. Well, gosh, I mean, Arizona State, this is their first year in the conference. They're in the conference title game. SMU, same thing. And they will play your stalwart in the conference. I mean, Clemson has been, for the most part, the standard in the ACC, with the exception of Florida State getting in there last year. But Clemson is back. They got some help from Syracuse, but they're in there.
Oh, a lot of help from Syracuse.
Yeah, but they're in there ready to play. I know. Do you?
Loser.
But so Clemson is coming off of this loss against South Carolina. And SMU has been rolling. I can understand if people were going to pick Clemson just because Clemson has been the standard here. I'm not going to. I'm picking SMU.
I'm riding.
Yeah, you pony up, right?
Pony up. I'm riding. How can you not? You know what I mean? They just come in and play for you. Yeah, I'm going to do. I'll let you do your score and then I'll do my score.
So I got SMU winning this game. I think they're the better team right now. Clemson, when they play better defenses, they struggle to score.
Yeah,
like that is evident. I mean, that they scored 3 against y'all. They scored 14 against Louisville, and they scored 14 against South Carolina. And I think SMU is bringing a lot of that same energy on defense. Now, that's the underrated part of their game because SMU can score, but their defense has been improving in
every week.
Yeah, so I think SMU is going to win this game, and I think they're going to win by double digits. I do have them winning by double digits.
Yeah, I got to win by double digits. Yeah, I can't wait to tell you my score.
So I got I'm going to go 30. I think it's going to be pretty solid, man. I got 33-20. I got 33-20 SMU.
You give them Clemson a lot more. Dude, I'm going SMU 34-10.
34-10?
Yeah. I think SMU smacks them and proves that they get to be in the college playoffs. And they're like, please, give us something. They're going to be chanting at the end of this game, SEC, SEC, SEC. Yeah. Yeah, I you know what? SMU gives Clemson the death penalty. 34-10. Thank you for that, Aaron. 34-10.
So SMU, they were given the death penalty back in the 80s. Remember when I was telling you about how SMU was NIL before NIL even became a thing? And that's part of the reason why. They were impermissible benefits before that was even a term. And
they didn't even care. They didn't even care. I looked it up and I read some of the articles. They didn't care. They were like, yeah, they gave me a car and
yeah.
No, I'm not. They still try to show up on the field.
Growing up in Texas, I'm very, very familiar with SMU and why they got the death penalty. So yes, for them to get that and to come in here first year in the ACC and potentially, if they win, I mean, they're going to get that berth if they win, which we both think they will. What a turnaround. And then the coach is pretty new too. Brett, I want to say his name is Brett Lashley. He's in his first or second year, and he's got SMU there. So I got SMU winning pretty solidly. Well, shoot, you got a blowout. I got a blowout.
I don't think Clemson can handle this defense, dude, at all. It wouldn't surprise me. What's his name? Klubnik? Klubnik throws 3 interceptions with 2 pick sixes. That's how bad that defense is going to smother Clemson.
Let's roll to the Big Ten, and this is a matchup with Penn State and Oregon. So Penn State gets in there because they actually handled their business, unlike Ohio State did. And so with Ohio State losing to Michigan, Penn State gets the berth. And they're going to play Oregon. Oregon is still undefeated, have not lost. And they were already in like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, Patrick.
Before you say anything, let's pause for a moment. I want to pause for a moment. And I want us here at BOFA Sports to enjoy the fact that we are looking at a conference game from the Big Ten that does not include either Ohio State or Michigan right now. I want us to really understand what is happening in the Big Ten right now. Just wanted to say that because for a while it has either been one of those two.
It's the standard, yeah.
And now we're seeing Oregon as their first year in the Big Ten making this kind of noise. So I just want to point that out to all you Big Ten people out there.
So
just saying.
So the next question is, do you see Penn State winning this game?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. I got Oregon. Oregon's winning. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think Penn State does have enough to stay in the game. I'm not gonna say keep it close. I think they have enough to stay in the game. But I think Oregon is a better team, better coached. Penn State. The question always comes: Is Penn State? What's head coach's name at Penn State? I can't think of it right now.
James Franklin.
James Franklin. Will he pull the trigger and be physical that we know this team could be? Or does he hold them back like he does against Ohio State and Michigan every time he plays them? That's the question. And we're always going to ask that question until they get over that hump. I do not see anything different from Franklin that I would see from Ohio State or Michigan. I'm going to go Oregon. I'll go Oregon 30-20.
I got Oregon 42 to 24. I think Oregon's just gonna
blow them out. Just show the reason why they're number one.
Yeah,
I like it. I can't argue with that.
I mean, Penn State just again, you said it earlier. Penn State, when they get into these games for whatever reason, James Franklin just coaches super conservatively.
Now,
yeah. Now, I think maybe since Ohio State or Michigan is not on the other side, maybe he does be more aggressive, like a little bit more, maybe
20 points.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing. Yeah, 42-24.
You score more points, but you give Oregon far more points.
I do.
I respect it.
I think Oregon's gonna run circles around them. And
another death penalty.
Yeah, and then of course to the SEC. So we have that. So
of course this is gonna be last.
Of course. So we have the rematch coming from the game that we played against each other in Austin. Georgia won that game 30-15. And look, I mean, all right, I gotta say this though. I will say this before we make the picks. So if you haven't watched this show, we have a rule that says we're gonna stay with our picks. So whatever picks we had at the beginning of the season, we're gonna ride with that pick until proven otherwise.
If we can't pick them again, we will ride with that pick until we cannot pick them again.
So there's one exception to that rule, and that exception is if our team is involved in the championship or whatever the scenario is, then we reserve that liberty to go against that pick that we made originally. So with that in mind, here's what I said at the beginning of the year. I said, I can see a scenario where we meet in the championship game after beating y'all in Austin. Of course, that didn't happen. But I see a scenario where y'all would get us in a championship game because my pick to win the conference was Georgia. So here's that exception.
Yep.
Here we are. We're in it. And of course, I'm picking us. And I know you're going to pick y'all. And so,
everybody knows.
And so now it just depends on what the score is. Look, for me, I'm just going to say there was a lot of lessons that were learned from when y'all played us the first time. And I believe we will start to see the fruits of learning from those lessons. Y'all came in with a lot of physicality. We weren't ready for that physicality on either side of the ball. When Ewers got that hit and he was done. Like, I mean, he was just sapped out after that corner blitz and was not the same after that. But shoot, Arch Manning came in for a little bit. But after that game, there were those lessons. Got to get better at the line of scrimmage. Got to play more nasty at the line of scrimmage. Got to be more physical at the line of scrimmage. And on the offensive line, we've been creating those holes. Wisner and Blue been running through just bad truck size holes. Yep. And on defense, we're playing on the other side and we're blowing up those plays. We're definitely going to need that against y'all. And of course, this game, I forgot to mention that, or I forgot to mention in the Big Ten. Big Ten games being played in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. And with the SEC championship game, of course, that is at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia.
Practically a home game.
Practically a home game for the Dogs. So I think we're coming in there. I like Patrick. Y'all ain't gonna let us win the SEC in our first year in the conference, are y'all? Surely you're not gonna do that.
Hopefully not. Now, I will say this. Out of I'll let you finish, and then I'll say my speech because mine. I do gotta say mine.
I think it's gonna be a tight score, man. I mean, I didn't have anything else to add except for those lessons. I think we're gonna learn from what happened to us in Austin. And we're gonna come out of here. We're gonna win the SEC in our first year in the conference. 30-27, I think, will be the final score. No. Actually, no. I think it will be more of a defensive game. I'm gonna go 27-23.
Okay.
Texas.
This is where. Here's what you're going to learn in the SEC. If you don't watch SEC, this is where it comes. You do not like seeing a team twice in the same year. This is where we hate it, right here. And it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, Vandy does not want to see Alabama a second time because Alabama's they're going to break it down. With that being said, there is a lot of lessons that Texas learned. I can tell you we were not expecting to see Texas again like that, because a lot of times you don't expect it. You're expecting you put them in, you won that game, we move on, we'll see you again next year kind of thing. Texas handled business. They got physical. I mean, there was games where they were physical all the way before Georgia. When you get to Georgia, you learned lessons. With that being said, obviously I'm gonna go Georgia, but this game scares the crap out of me. It really does. I do feel like win or lose, either one of these teams are being in the playoffs. So win or lose, I think both of them are going to be in. It's just a matter of, can we handle and get that first week bye so that we can have the next 3 games at home, because all 3 of those are being played in Atlanta. So I'm going to go Georgia. I do think Texas learned. I do think they went to school in that game. But I am going to go Georgia. I do think this is going to be a defensive battle. I don't think Beck or Ewers is going to come out throwing 190 yards in the first quarter. By no means. I'm gonna go Georgia 24-17. But a lot closer than what that score says. Actually, no, I'm gonna go 24-20. I'm gonna go 24-20 Georgia. Because Texas is not winning the SEC in their first year.
Oh, Patrick.
We are going to refuse that. So, 24-20 Georgia.
Patrick, look, man, so I'm going to say this. I'm going to acknowledge something here, and then we'll move on to the NFL. But, dude, if we win the SEC in our first year in the conference, look, I know how I'm going to be. I'm going to be
proud.
I'm going to be proud, but I'm going to be cool about it. Mm-hmm. The rest of the Longhorn faithful, we might be as bad as LSU. we might be some horrible winners. Like we may have this conversation, Patrick, maybe a year down the line. And you remember the conversation we had when you were taking me to the airport and we were talking about the SEC fan bases. And both of us agreed that LSU's fan base are sore winners and sore losers.
I have never had a bottle thrown at my head after LSU beat us until that game. I was like, you won. And I still had to play dodgeball with you.
Patrick, I would not be surprised if we have this conversation a year later and you say, Charles, I gotta say, Texas is up there with LSU. Because if we win the SEC our first year, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can see where but here's the problem is, winning the SEC, that'll go to your head really quick, and then you could be a Florida State all over again. So keep them in check.
That's why I'm like, look, y'all.
But you know,
yeah.
I mean, look at Vandy. I'm just saying, little old Vandy is in a bowl game. I'm just saying.
That's why I said, man, look, I know how I'm gonna be. I mean, of course, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be proud, but let's take that as, all right, we won. We're still in the conference now, y'all. We don't leave the SEC after teams will remember.
Put a target on your back, really.
Yeah, you're right. Teams will remember this.
And I mean, honestly, y'all. I mean, to be honest with you, y'all might have a little bit of a target on your back after the last time we met, and y'all were throwing bottles all over the field.
Look,
I can see y'all. I can see us going. You know what? You got your way last time. Ain't happening again.
I think there's going to be a lot of Bulldogs fans.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you might even look at us and go, your fan base is horrible.
I mean, I think the SEC as a whole, man, might be rooting for y'all because they know, look, Definitely Oklahoma, Arkansas, and A&M knows. They're like, there's no damn way they can come into this conference and win in their first year. Oh, dude, you think Oklahoma fans now? Like I said, Oklahoma fans wake up saying horns down. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be that on.
They even have the patches that go over, so they keep all the sun at.
Yeah. Okay.
What is that? Horns down, man. Yeah. I mean, you're not even rooting for your own team. You're just disliking Texas that much.
Horns down. Horns down. Hey, as I said, Bear got a sense of that too. When Oklahoma whooped the Tide's ass, and then they come running in there. Yeah, we beat the Tide. Horns down. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, we're nowhere in the stadium. You know what you're doing?
Dude, it still got me when I was watching the Maryland game, and they were on the East Coast, and Texas was on the West Coast. And College Game Day was there, and it does that span, and all the Maryland fans were like,
yeah.
I was like, they're way over there.
We're nowhere in the state.
Yeah, to be honest with you, out of all the teams in the world, I think Maryland hates y'all the most. I mean, Arkansas, yeah, there's a deep rivalry there, but I haven't met a Maryland fan one that doesn't put horns down, dude. They're like, they for serious don't like y'all. I don't know why. No conference relations, no nothing. It's just like, F Texas. For what? I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, well, Patrick, hey, man, let's go over to the NFL, see what's going on over there, man. What caught your eye from those games last week? Oh, is it time to go to Spinix? Kirk Cousins looked bad, man. He looked bad.
I almost text you and I was about to say this right here. The reason why I didn't want him. The reason why I didn't want him. Look, I started getting high hopes. I was like, okay. Now we're on a 3-game losing streak because this dude can't not throw an interception now. I was like, geez. But you know what? Good. Keep all your interceptions over there, and Carson Beck stop throwing them. Like, I'm glad Kirk Cousins is doing it, because as long as he's doing it, Carson Beck ain't doing it. So keep them Cousins. Keep throwing them interceptions way over there. But again, as usual, we can't freaking win at home. How stupid! Like between us and Dallas, we don't even deserve a stadium because we win on the road. We win on the road. We don't win at home. Stupid. It's dumb. I hate it. Can't stand the Falcons right now. I'm mad at them. But what can I say? What did he throw? 3 interceptions. 2 of them were pick sixes. So mad. But anyway, how about the game Carolina gave Kansas City? They played them well.
Carolina played them.
Hold on. I'm on the wrong week. They didn't play well that week though, but I was on the wrong week. What week are we on? 13?
Yes. 13. Carolina played Tampa Bay.
Okay.
They gave him the game.
Dallas got a home win on Thanksgiving. Good for them. That's the first time they won in almost a year at home. I was like, Jerry, this is what I mean right here. Atlanta and Dallas. Why do we even have stadium? Jerry Jones spent way too much money just to lose at home.
You can't even put curtains in there.
I know. I mean, aesthetically, the stadium looks shit. Because it's like, what? All this money you make, and you can't even put a curtain in there? Come on, man.
And the Giants, oh my God, the Giants. What else? Because the Giants are, wow. Man, I'll just say this. If there was relegation in the NFL, the Giants would be getting relegated. Quick as in a hurry. As a matter of fact, both New York teams would be getting relegated. They would get flexed out of every national game they're supposed to be in. I'm still, like I said, I want that petition. I want that petition so bad. Why are the Jets, the Cowboys, and the Giants? Why are they on TV?
Yeah, they need to be blacked out.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I wouldn't televise, I wouldn't advertise for them. I was like, I didn't even know. It should be at a point where people go, Dallas has a team? I thought they had Maybe they should.
Yeah.
Maybe they should. Jerry, sell it. Hey, look, I tell you what, I'll take it off your hands for $10 because that's all that team's worth right now.
It's $10.
Give you $10, I'll take the team off your hands. You ain't got to worry about it anymore. Wipe your hands of it. Stop getting on the radio. I don't need you to do that anymore. Just look, $12.50. That'll be my first. Give you $12.50. Be my final offer. Because that's all that team's worth.
Sorry.
Dude, this has got to be frustrating for Cincinnati, dude. Dude, Joe Burrow cannot do any more than what he's doing to win. He 38 points. This wins for any other team in the NFL. I mean, what's the highest that was scored? Minus Pittsburgh scoring 44 points. What was the highest? 27, 30? 30 by Green Bay was the highest all week?
Yeah, Bill scored
42.
Yeah, Bill scored 35. Denver scored 41.
Okay, so three teams, not counting Pittsburgh, 3 teams scored over 38 points against completely inferior. This has got to be frustrating. Like, whatever Cincinnati has got going on as a defensive coordinator, get rid of this dude. Because it's horrendous. You score 38 points. Joe Burrow. I didn't even look at Joe Burrow's stats. Did you look at him?
I didn't get to look at him, but
I'll look at him right now because I'm dead serious. This cannot continue. This dude went 28 for 38, 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, which came in, I think, in the fourth quarter. 49.2 QB. I'm sorry, 112.7 rating.
And I don't know what's happened to Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a pretty good defense, and then the bottom has completely fallen out.
Yeah. You scored 38 points. That's a win. I don't care what it is. That's a win. Joe Burrow cannot do any more than what he's doing. And 28 for 38 for 309 yards with 3 touchdowns. Russell Wilson did just a smidge better with 29 for 38 with 3 touchdowns. 1 completion more. I mean, what ridiculous. Like you said, I don't know what's going on with Cincinnati's defense. They were supposed to be really good. This is pathetic. Like, get rid of this dude. Get rid of the coordinator because they got a defense that can handle it, but somebody's not calling the right play.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's been an ongoing issue for the whole season. And Cincinnati has scored these points. I mean, they scored 38 and 34 in their 2 respective games against the Baltimore Ravens, lost them both.
Yeah.
They scored, I think, 33 in a game against the Commanders, lost that game.
Yeah.
I mean, they scored in the 30s pretty consistently, and they are losing all these games. And that
you can't. That something's got to change. That cannot continue to keep happening. And then on top of that, the average what Joe Burrow is doing per game is amazing, and they still cannot string wins together. I mean, a 4-8 record easily.
But look, if he had half of the Chiefs' luck, then they would be.
Hell, give him this much more luck. Hell, give him this much more defense, and they'd be 10-2. They don't even need the Chiefs' luck. They just need one stop. One more stop.
I just say that about Kansas City because Kansas City just continues to stumble upon, or I mean, it's half and half because the Raiders know how to lose games too. Yeah, but
and Raiders found a way to lose.
But here's Kansas City. They're up 19-17, and the Raiders, in typical Raider fashion, they're driving, have a chance to kick a potential game-winning field goal, and what happens? They fumble the snap. A shotgun snap. They fumble a shotgun snap. And the Chiefs recover. And yeah, game over. It's just can Joe Burrow and the Bengals get a little bit of that? Give me
this much. Like, look, cut your pinky,
yeah,
right there, and drop a blood drop of luck that you have. We're 10-2. We're 10-2. Drop it on our defense because our offense has no problem with scoring. Our defense can't stop. I'm like, amazing.
Well, what games are you looking forward to this week?
So there's a couple of them that I was looking forward to. Green Bay and Detroit. That's gonna be a good game, dude. I'm looking forward to that one.
The game of the week on Thursday.
Yeah, to me that's a game of the week. To me that's a game of the week, and it's on Thursday. Like after that, it's like NFL, whatever. You know. I think there's going to be a couple of good games. Where's the other one? Seattle and Arizona. That one's going to be pretty good. And there was one more. I can't find it.
Falcons Vikings?
Falcons Vikings. Yeah, that's what it was. I think that, well, if we need to put Spinix in.
Yeah.
But you know what? No, we can keep Cousins in. We're away, so we're good. We're away. They win at home. We're like 0-6 at home, and we're 6-0 away.
Y'all won a game at home because y'all beat Tampa Bay, and that was when Kirk Cousins was surf swagging or whatever it's called.
That don't count because he was surf swagging. That don't count. We're 0-6. That don't count. Kirk Cousins.
That don't count.
That don't count because he was doing something stupid, and we're not counting that as a win. We'll count that as a loss.
You can't erase that. That's on Amazon's TV forever. You can't erase.
On YouTube too.
Amazon cameras caught that, and you know it's on YouTube because the NFL also they do all the reviews for the games. It's out there, Patrick. You cannot erase that memory. You can't. Internet's undefeated.
So I challenge accepted. I will try. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna get that. Every time I will erase it from my memory. I never saw it, but because he did that, I count that as a loss. We are 0-6 at home. Now, overall record, we are 6-6.
Okay,
we will take that. For this viewership, we are 0-6 at home because Kirk Cousins did that.
What are you? You're the NCAA now? You just vacate victories?
I just vacate victories when Kirk Cousins does something dumb. So I take the win. And no, Kirk, I didn't like it.
So, all right, so before we get out, Patrick, there was something that happened over the week. Oh, by the way, Buffalo Bills look really good too.
Yeah. They're rolling.
So before we go, man, there was something that happened in the Houston Texans game against the Jacksonville Jaguars in which the linebacker, Azeez Al-Shaair, hit Trevor Lawrence, gave him a concussion, cost the team fight. It was on one of those plays where the quarterback is running, he slides, and I mean, Al-Shaair kind of leveled him and gave him a concussion. So team fight happened. He's suspended for, I think, 3 games now. And the coach for the Texans, DeMeco Ryans, got up there and basically for the lack of a better term, blame Trevor Lawrence for getting hit. Now, look, I
he entered his slide, dude.
Yeah, like I mean, we have it's in the rules now, and it's been in the rules for a while. So this isn't one of those things where they're bringing out this whole thing trying to protect the quarterbacks. You already know they're going to do what they can to protect the quarterbacks now. All the rules are centered around protecting the quarterback. No low hits, no late hits, no high hits. I mean, you can't really hit the quarterback anymore.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
it's like
it's
roughing the passer, breathing on Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, automatic flag. And so
automatic win for the Chiefs.
Yeah. Swifties, right? Swifties.
You and so flag and they're like, we no see you.
And so Trevor Lawrence is going into the slide. I get it. Sometimes the timing of the slide puts the defender at a peril. I can understand that, because especially if you're in the air, there's nothing you can really do about that one. Al-Shaair has some time to pull off. No,
yeah, he did. He did. I mean, that was blatant. He was wanting to hit him, and he hit him. That was blatant.
Yeah. I just think, I mean, things are established now. The rules are there, and I get it, because yes, there are a lot of rules that are geared toward the offense. We have discussed it ad nauseum on this webcast, even on some shorties. We have discussed how the rules are absolutely putting the defense at a
crazy disadvantage.
Yeah, a horrific disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
This play, Al-Shaair could have pulled off there, man.
This is not one.
He dove in with the elbow. Yeah, he dove in with the elbow, and he hit Trevor Lawrence in the head. This was and there. If the team is gonna fight there, I'm all about that fight.
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't have took me one bit to pull his helmet off his head and hit him with it.
Yeah,
I would. That's how. You want to cause concussions? Let's do it. I'm gonna break your jaw while I'm doing it too, because that right there, you ain't doing. No, we don't do that. But we have discussed it on this webcast many times, saying that we understand the rules. We understand that it is a complete horrific disadvantage. That was just outright dirty.
It was blatant.
It was blatant.
It was a dirty play, and I mean, those are the things that are like you're coach now. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I play hard, play till the whistle, whatever. Don't do that. And
when you leave a quarterback where you hit him in the head and his arm is like this, and dude, that was way too hard. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. We all know what we signed up for. You know what I mean? When I say it's too hard, I mean, I more mean is too blatant. You cannot lead with the elbow like that, hit him in the head, and then cause his head to literally dribble off the ground. It wasn't even that hard of a hit, to be honest with you. It was.
No.
But the fact of the matter is it just the way his head hit off the ground. And, dude, we've seen it many times where somebody gets hit so hard and then on the ground they just, freeze. You know what I mean? That's when it's like... And I get sick at my stomach when I see things like that. Like when I saw that hit, I had to walk away because I started getting sick at my stomach. Like, you know me, I've had so many injuries in my life because of sports. When I see an ankle turn and it shouldn't be turned that way, or somebody get hit like that, or arms flaring up I cannot take the injuries. I walk away. You've watched me walk away. I'm like, I can't do that. I gotta go. And I'll come back once they get everything cleaned up and I don't have to see it anymore. I'll come back. That right there, I have not walked away from a hit like that in some years. And I had to walk away from that one because when I saw his arm just like I was like, whoa, no, I gotta go. And I walked away. I came back in 5 minutes when it was all cleaned up and I didn't have to see it anymore. But it's just, You got to pull back. You got to pull back. We all knew he was entering his slide way before you were even in the screen. You know what I mean? Pull back.
And let's hope Trevor Lawrence can come back.
Absolutely.
Good from it. It didn't look good on the field, but it said the safety and his well-being is first and foremost, and let's hope he's all right.
And we'll be praying for him and his family.
Mm-hmm. Well, Patrick, let's hop on out, man. But before we hop on out, what's coming for Bro Epic?
We just finished our Bro Epic challenge. As you can see, we got new challenge coming up. It's called Pop Darts. So we will be kind of teaming up with Pop Darts and doing a challenge for that. We have a epic dodgeball game coming up probably after the first of the year. So I'll mention that one again. We have had to put our football on hold because we just had too many kids out of town and just can't get them rounded up to do that one. So we are now looking at filling that with possibly a collaboration with another local business for some pickleball challenges. So we are going to bring pickleball in and we're going to look at trying to do that. So I would say look for Pop Darts, pickleball, and then after the first of the year, epic dodgeball.
Yes, sir. And so, everybody be on the lookout for that. Patrick and the Bro Epic channel is on all these social medias. So be on the lookout for them.
Watch.
Yes. And for us, at the beginning of the new year, we've got some interesting things coming. We've been working toward them for BOFA Sports. I mean, we already kind of rebranded the product. So so that's the start of it. But
this is a little taste.
Yeah, so just be on the lookout. But until then, I guess that will conclude this edition of the BOFA Sports Webcast. That is what we are breathing on for tonight. Y'all make sure y'all visit the BOFA Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the BOFA Sports Facebook page. Until next week, everybody enjoy the games. We hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving holiday as well. Forgot to say that at the beginning, but hope everybody took care of business, whatever they were doing. But the main thing is just kind of maybe refreshing, rewinding, and spending some time with some loved ones. Hopefully everybody got the chance to do that over the Thanksgiving holiday. And as for this weekend coming up, enjoy Conference Championship Saturday. And if it's half as exciting as Rivalry Week was, we're in for a treat. So everybody take it easy, and we will talk to y'all next week. Y'all take care.